Hello, I'm Ink, and this is my level Urchin, which I made in Halo 5 Forge. I'm going to give you a quick tour, and then we'll play around in Spartan modes that you can sort of see how the level might play. So, uh, this was one of my first times actually using Forge in any real way. I was not a huge Halo player growing up, so a lot of these tools were very new to me, and you can sort of see as I was like starting to learn the tools. Um, the level I ended up creating is a 3-lane, relatively close quarters map. We do have a couple of really long sight lines that you can see right down the lanes to create a bit of a distance pressure, but for the most part, engagements are likely to happen in smaller, tight areas like over here or over here. And that's what our like playtesting has sort of concluded for us. Um, so I designed it around 3 lanes. I wanted one lane to be really low but high reward. That way you have like the pressure of taking that low ground, but you have a really great reward. This shotgun is extremely strong in close quarters, which is exactly what we want to reward the players. Even stronger in close quarters is the gravity hammer in this like central area. Originally, I wanted to move this out to a side lane, but it doesn't really fit with the consistent rules we see in existing Halo levels. And also, playtesting found that if there isn't like an external reward down center, players will go down the same lane as their 2v2 partner all the time because they don't want to split up between two like side lanes, and they don't really have a reason to go down mid, so they just always try to skirmish in 2v2s off to the side, which I sort of wanted to break that up, give a little bit more meaning to team positioning. And then on this side, it's a little more cover, a little more room to dodge and weave, and because of it, there's a lot of smaller, less valuable rewards over here. The level was designed with verticality in mind, so you can see all this like top scaffolding and all these side like vents and the tops of these like outcrops. All of these are playable spaces that you can like jump onto, and like it's all walkable, and that was very intentional because the what I was trying to convey with this map is very much uh, letting players feel really confident when they get really comfortable with the map, right? And one of the ways they can do that is by really leveling up their movement and positioning, and one of those ways is understanding how to get up to the higher areas and how to utilize that new space. So for example, we put these like scatter grenades here to help push them towards some area denial while they're up here, right? And this helps really weaken this lane over here and this lane over here to sort of bring them more in line with this lane over here, right? As for these, one thing I do want to mention, I when I work on levels, I like to incorporate a little bit of like a preview into what the final aesthetic is going to be, and you can sort of see that I did like smaller samples of like what sort of architecture and stuff I want around, even though I ended up having to leave it as a bunch of primitives for time reasons. But I thought it would be cool if instead of using traditional gravity lifts, we have these things that are more in line with the visual style of the level. So I did those pipes, tried to make them super obvious so players won't miss them. And I think that the steam coming off of it does a good job of conveying what they're supposed to be replacing. Gravity lifts in this case. If I were to go back and rework anything in the level, it would probably be this like team initial spawn area. So I know that camping is a huge part of Halo culture and something that Halo 5 Forge and Infinite later really tried to step away from. So I tried making sure that this area has like multiple exits, right? You can jump down here, which is very covered, but it puts you immediately off high ground. You could jump out either side off this, or you could jump out into center lane. But I don't really like how tight it is. I don't like this like starting sight line. Like, I think it's a little too tight. I don't like that I can, like, back up into a wall. So, if I had time, I would definitely rework this area. In the case that you are going to get, like, super sniped down by, like, say, somebody gets, like, a longer range weapon and are sitting right over there. I did make sure that there were no, like, actual sniper rifles on the map. But let's say somebody's like a real Deadeye with the assault rifles. If certain conditions are met, I have set the spawns to change to other side areas, sort of littered around. Like you can spawn down here, you can spawn, I believe I put one over here. Yeah, like there's little pockets that if your priority spawns are under distress, you can switch spawns. So I'm just gonna jump in and sort of run around for a sec while I talk about some of my ideas for what this map was supposed to be. So the map itself, my original idea for it was sort of like this hyper-urban, not super wealthy area, right? Because we mostly see this like sterilized, like military aspect of Halo, but we don't really see what normal civilians live as, let alone like sort of the people forgotten in this like supposedly post-scarcity society. And I wanted to sort of build that into what like that sort of space would truly look like. So I drew on my own experiences a lot of like living in a super urban area growing up. I come from a big city. I grew up without a lot of money, so I drew on those experiences as I considered like the architecture, the building materials, the like shapes, and the sort of set dressing with like sort of just stuff scattered around in the roads, sort of trying to give it that alleyway vibe, you know. And I think aesthetically the level actually delivers on all of that really well. I did initially want to finish filling out all these primitives, but time wasn't really on my side for that. And at the end of the day, I would usually expect an environment artist to take something like that over in the case that a company hires me solely as a level designer, you know? So I left some of them as primitives. I think the aesthetics come through plenty fine. Say I'm like running through here. These sight lines are very real threats. That up there, very real threats. But this gravity hammer, man, so worth it in skirmishes, you know? So that's sort of my brief overview of this level. And yeah, thank you for watching.